So as he was saying, that so confirmation that this is a very large gas line. It's a 24-inch feeder line running right through that residential neighborhood. When you look at a satellite photo of the area, you know, you can see typically in a satellite photo if there's a gas pipeline running through an area, it's quite well, you know, discernible from the surrounding territory. But this just seemed to thread right through a residential area.
Right, it looked like a subdivision. I mean, a big tract. They said there was damage to 120 homes. It looked like that would be almost every home in that tract. There were a couple main roads leading around it, and we are trying to build this for you as well with our graphics so we can show it to you. But you're right. I mean, it just looks like where they say that explosion happened at Vermont and Claremont. I mean, it's just literally right in the middle of this neighborhood.
Yeah, and you can see the density of the housing in that area as well. Brian Carmody arrived on the scene of the disaster about 15 minutes after the gas line ruptured. He's had a lot of experience with things like this. He's a freelance photographer who's been working the streets of San Francisco for 16 years, was also a still photographer when the Oakland Hills fires erupted in the early 1990s. He joins us live from the same location that the mayor was at in San Bruno. And Brian, describe for us what the scene was like when you came upon it, what you saw, what you felt. Tremendous amount of heat, obviously.
The sound was absolutely amazing. The sound was a really, really roaring, deep, continuous roaring sound. When we pulled up and jumped out of the car, it was really hot. The radiant heat from the actual gas burning itself, not the homes burning, the actual gas burning was incredible. We couldn't really get that close. I actually have some very basic firefighting protection gear that I carry with me. I put on my helmet and my goggles just to be able to do what I needed to do, not to keep myself safe, but just to keep the heat out of my eyes. We basically arrived, we got about a block away from where this thing was burning and started to take video.
And there you see, this is video that you shot as well of the firefighters being able to get a dog out of one of the homes in the area. You also talked about the sheer frustration of those firefighters because the ones nearest to the actual explosion had no water because of the explosion.
Yeah, the firefighters did rescue that dog. That was kind of the best thing I saw all day in the midst of just a horrible day for these people in San Bruno. The firefighters, I did have several of them come by to me and just kind of make a spontaneous statement about how frustrated they were. They were frustrated because there was nothing that they could do to fight the fire for several reasons. Number one, because it was just too big and too hot for them to get anywhere near it. But the other thing was the water. Apparently, the explosion knocked out a water main at the location, and there was no water in the closest hydrants to the incident. They had to bring water in by laying lines from several blocks away to get water to do some defensive operations.
Give us a sense of the size of the inferno that we saw here. We've seen these incredible aerial shots of a crater where the gas pipeline was centered. The explosion blew out the surrounding ground, and I think there might have been a road running on top of it as well, because our Dan Simon found chunks of concrete as much as 3 blocks away. These aerial photographs really do tell the story. But tell us from the ground, Brian, how widespread was this fire? How quickly did it spread out from the epicenter?
The actual gas fire was very contained into one small close area, but what happened is the houses just started catching fire and moving. The fire would move from one house to the next because the fire was burning so fast and so big and so intensely. You know, one house would catch on fire, totally go up, and then the fire would move to the next house. The gas itself was just kind of a continuous fireball that was just going and going and going. When we were there, the flames were, I would say, at the most 100 feet tall, but it was definitely a sight to see.
All right, and you know, we did get a little bit more information from San Bruno's mayor about the extent of the injuries. As we said, it's going to take until tomorrow afternoon, or perhaps this afternoon, before they can get in there. He did say he thinks the last number was 30 to 38 people taken to local hospitals, some released, and no major injuries. Right now, all we know is that one person is confirmed killed. And Brian, you said there were some rumblings among the firefighters as well. If you weren't able to get out when this started, and you were trapped there, it certainly doesn't look good.
Definitely does not look good for some of the people that were very close when this thing exploded. But there's no way to know who was home, where they were, or anything. You know, that's what I saw was one person being carried out of the area. That's when the fire department actually took my car. They actually asked if they could use my car to evacuate this patient out, and I gave the keys over immediately, obviously, to them. But I only saw one person that was injured. Local media reports reporting that there are several people in critical condition in different burn units around the Bay Area.
All right, Brian Carmody, freelance cameraman, joining us. We saw some of his pictures there of one of the houses on fire that he shot at the corner of Vermont and Claremont, just maybe a block and a half away from the fire itself. By the way, the Red Cross is helping, as it does so ably in the incidents like this over so many years, is helping to coordinate shelter and assistance for people who are affected by the fire. Here's a number to call for you if you need some help from the Red Cross. It's 888-443-5722. That's 888-443-5722. It's also 888-4HELP-BAY. So they've got that set up already.
Yeah, and as we heard from the mayor, they were literally at this shopping complex, the Bay Hill Shopping Center, not far away, shell-shocked in the aftermath of what happened. So certainly they're going to need help, and long-term help.
Red Cross always does such a great job at incidents like this,
They do. And right now we're going to check in with California's Lieutenant Governor Abel Maldonado. He is the state's acting governor right now because Governor Schwarzenegger is in China. Thanks for your time today, too. I imagine you're very busy this morning. Give us an update on what you're getting out of the latest with this situation.
Well, Kieran, I just came up from the bottom of the hill. I went down and I had a close-up view of what, in essence, looks like a bomb went off. There's asphalt all over the road. Cars are burned on both sides. Fireplaces are standing up with no structures next to them. And I must say that just shocked to know that this is a horrible tragedy that has hit the people of San Bruno, California.
You know, Governor, we're used to seeing scenes like this in the hills of Oakland or outside of Sacramento or even in Malibu, but in a densely populated suburban area like this is highly unusual.
I think that's what got me the most, John. As I walked down the street, I looked and there's these neighborhood, there's houses everywhere, and you get to the corner of the street and all of a sudden there's no houses there, just burnt everything, and a big old huge pipe in the middle of the road. You can actually see where the planes came in and unloaded the retardant. Those houses are still there. There was quick action from CAL FIRE, and everybody here came together immediately. But I've never seen anything like this. I would expect something like this where there's big trees and so forth, but it's just a horrible tragedy, and I hope we can just come together and move this forward and get to the end of see what happened here.
I'm sure that you, as well as all other state leaders, want to know how it happened. You know, have you gotten any answers from PG&E, even a preliminary assessment of how this might have happened, if for no other reason to ensure that it doesn't happen again someplace else?
Well, one of the first calls that I got obviously were from the folks in the fire on the front line that called me immediately and said, we got a fire, we need to react. Second call was from PG&E. They said, you know what, we believe that it's one of our pipelines. We believe it's a big pipe, and if we're responsible, we are going to make everything good. So they were immediately on the forefront, give them credit for that. But, you know, we don't know what happened. I don't know what happened. Tomorrow morning we will find out. We'll see more devastations. And I'm sure we'll find, you know, people that have not made it. And it's really, really sad.
You know, when you say we're sure we'll find people that have not made it, Governor, we know that there was one person who's reported dead at this point. Is there a sense that because of the enormity of this explosion, the fact that it occurred just after 6 o'clock, when a lot of people, and I know that the schedules have changed and many people don't get home till after 7, but a lot of people would have been coming home at about 6 o'clock, that the death toll might go higher?
Well, I hope not, but I believe that the death toll might increase. We don't know at this time. What I do know is that when I was down there, John and Kieran, I saw a lot of cars in the driveway. Obviously, that tells me that people didn't leave, so that is a great concern. But we have a lot of fire folks down there right now, cleaning up, going after, waiting for the sun to come up and see what happened.
And speaking of that, you're saying tomorrow, because it's 3 a.m. your time there, it's 6 o'clock in the morning here on the East Coast. Do you think by this afternoon, meaning today, Friday, you will be able to have a better assessment of any loss of life, any other people who didn't make it, and also perhaps a cause?
I think so. Our departments are all working hard. They know that as soon as the sun comes up, we're going to be out there. We're going to bring some dogs. We're going to go through the whole area, look at what happened, and try to find folks, if there's folks in their homes and so forth. So it's going to be a morning where numbers are going to change all morning. It's going to be sad. It's a horrible tragedy for the people of San Bruno. We just got to thank the firefighters who've been working so hard to clean this place up.
Hey, Governor, just one more question about the potential for more fatalities in this case.
Yeah.
When you got up close to the epicenter there where the pipeline was and the explosion and fire actually occurred, did you see explosive damage to nearby structures, or did it appear to be all fire damage?
Oh, no, there was obviously fire damage, but a lot of explosive damage. I saw debris everywhere. There's pieces of concrete in the middle of the road, all over the places, on top of a car. The car is right next to the pipeline. There's 2 cars that are just completely burned right next to the pipeline where they just exploded. I see windows broken everywhere. So, yes, there was this huge explosion, and I'm sure this huge ball of fire that didn't allow firefighters to come in. It was so hot.
Yeah, just wondering if, people might have died in the initial explosion as opposed to, if a structure catches fire, it's possible to get out, but if it was actually blown down, that could increase the death toll. Governor Maldonado, thanks so much for being with us this morning. We really appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
Well, it's going to be a long morning ahead for all of the leaders there.
Sure will be.
And we're going to continue to check in on this. He just said he's shocked. It's a tragedy, and he never saw anything like it. And that was the sentiment from a lot of people who have seen a lot of fires coming from Northern California. Well, strong winds are certainly not helping the situation as firefighters work to contain the flames. Let's go to Rob Marciano. He's in the Extreme Weather Center. He's going to give us a sense of what that area is going to be like today as they continue to try to get a handle on this.
Well, good morning, guys. As you mentioned, the winds are much more calm right now, as is typically the case. Nothing over 10 miles an hour that we can find anywhere from San Francisco out towards Sacramento. Of course, San Francisco and where San Bruno is, which is pretty much right next to the San Francisco airport, is on a, it's one of the more narrow spots on the peninsula there that separates the bay from the ocean, and with the Coast Range in there, you can get some gusty winds, especially in the afternoon. Yesterday at 6 o'clock, the winds were right at 21 miles an hour out of the west. So all day long, it was really bad timing because we had winds out of the west at about 20 to 21 miles an hour for about 4 hours between 5 and 9 o'clock at night. And once the fog burns off this time of year, you can get gusty winds. Yesterday was a little bit worse than normal, and we'll have some gusty winds later on this afternoon. Shouldn't be as bad as yesterday, but and hopefully they'll have things under control more by then. But very bad timing for this thing to happen right at 6 o'clock, pretty much at the peak of the afternoon winds. Guys?
All right, Rob, thanks so much, and we'll get the local forecast from you here. For folks who are traveling across the country this morning, just a little while. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Rob. Well, we've gotten a lot of pictures from viewers like the one we're about to show you of the scene in San Bruno after this happened. If you have photos or video from the scene and would like to share them with us, please go to cnn.com/iReport.